Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. What the mainstream media won't tell you about the Women's March. We condemn violence, says the Women's March, but let's praise cop killer Assata Shakur as a vital part of our feminist movement. They don't even seem to notice the contradiction there. Assata Shakur is a civil rights leader, the Women's March claims. She battled sexism. Her resistance tactics were different. That doesn't mean we don't respect her anti-sexism work or appreciate her anti-racism work. The Women's March defends Assata Shakur. They claim they want to, quote, demonstrate the ongoing history of government and right-wing attempts to criminalize and discredit political activists. A 20-tweet rant from the Women's March dedicated to defending Assata Shakur. But there's one big problem here. Assata Shakur killed a cop. She was part of a radical black nationalist group. She shot a New Jersey state trooper in cold blood. She was convicted of that murder. She escaped prison, fled to communist Cuba, where she hides away in cowardice to this very day. Funny how the Women's March twisted the story to ignore that part. Yet, the Women's March claims we are a non-violent movement. We have never and will never use violence to achieve our goals. Non-violent? How can the Women's March claim they do not advocate for violence when they allow radicals like Rasmea O'Day and Linda Sarsour to lead their pink hat anti-Trump brigades and champion Assata Shakur as a woman to be respected? What kind of message does that send to little girls across America, the next generation of leaders in our country? If you don't like the president, you call for jihad against him. That's what Linda Sarsour did. If you don't like what somebody else says, you threaten to cut off their genitalia. Sarsour did that too. If you don't like Jewish people, kill them. That's what Rasmea O'Day did with a bomb. If you don't like cops, murder them in cold blood. That's what Assata Shakur did. If the Women's March is truly against violence, why won't you condemn Rasmea O'Day, a part of your movement, for the murder of 2 Israeli students? Or does that not count as violence to you? Why won't you condemn Linda Sarsour for calling for female genital mutilation against 2 women who disagree with her Islamic ideology? Or does that not count as violent rhetoric to you? Why won't you condemn instead of defending Assata Shakur for murdering a cop, painting her as the victim instead of the officer whose life she took, propping her up as an example of a respected feminist figure? Or does capital murder not count as violence to you? As a right-winger, I'm proud to criminalize the murder of cops by radical left-wing black nationalists. Assata Shakur killed a cop, escaped prison after she was convicted, fled to communist Cuba, and now the Women's March praises her. That's really all you need to know about the Women's March. And that's my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. And until then, have a good night.